Top of the morning folks, today from the Reddit Rainforest. What's the funniest thing you have done to avoid having sex? Back in college I was a designated driver for a group of friends. We get to a party and my sober ass is bored. Then a very drunk woman I knew from one of my classes started hitting on me, culminating with her telling me she'd duck my brains out. Sober me thought this was not kosher since she was hammered, so I turned around for a moment and yanked a few hairs out of my nose. It made me eyes water and my nose run, and I said, I have a brutal cold you do not want to catch. Why do not you let me get better and then I'll take you out. I gave her my phone number and though that was so sweet she passed out with her head in my lap. 3 days later before class she came up to me, gave me a huge hug, and thanked me for not being a dick. We ended up dating and she's still one of my best friends. Went with this girl to some CD love hotel in Brazilian. She wants me to go down on her. Well, why the duck not? Thing is, there's a strange smell coming from down there, and it's far from that normal, jelly, and pleasing smell. No, it's not menstruation. It's not poop. It is not anything caused by lack of hygiene either. It's not even a yeast infection. I know these smells. Trust me, it's something akin to carrion. Like there's some necrotic tissue inside her parts. When I took her panties off I almost gagged. So I did what any manly man would do. I immediately excused myself to the bathroom and escaped through the window. I shall tell you what this was, but you will not thank me. That is a tampon that she forget to remove. This is a story of wingmanship more than turning down sex. Went to a bar with two buddies, one of whom was meeting a girl there he had a crush on. She was wasted when we arrived, and after introductions it became apparent she was interested in me. Heavy flirting, obvious touching, etc. My friend with the crush took it in stride, sorta giving me a cessed laugh. I shrug, but I felt bad. I moved the conversation around till it was ripe to drop a white lie. I was gay. She did not believe me at first, so I improvised and wrapped my arm around my other friend, who was in the middle of WTFing after hearing me say that, and introduced him as my partner. She did a hip cock and asked us to prove it. There are those moments when you catch the gaze of a friend and realize that what's about to go down is something that you'll laugh about later, or a gale at each other's wedding. It only lasts for a split second, but in those moments you can glimpse the depth of your friendship. We shared a moment like that before exchanging a slow, gentle, familiar kiss. She just stood there, then said, "Wow, you guys do not seem gay." Meanwhile my pal who was into her witnessed the whole thing, jaw dropped, and bought us 2 shots. She became more obnoxious as the night wore on, and my pal lost all interest. Came out of there with a great story though. I decided to create a new account because I had to post something in regards to this, and my girlfriend/family did not need to know about. A few years back, single, and on the mend from a 9-year relationship, I was on Facebook chatting with my mother's best friend. We were talking about her kids who are my age, and how they have been, and how I wished I had hung out with them more in high school. The conversation becomes a bit more personal, and it migrates to text. She's asking me how big I am, and how she's always been curious. She's a very attractive lady, but 30 years older than I am. Plus, she has a big rack, which I got to see based off the pictures she started sending me. In a moment of weakness, I decided, I'm going to hit this. I give her my address, and she starts driving over. In a moment of clarity, I realized what was about to happen, and started freaking out. I called my mother shortly before her friend arrived, and told her I was homesick, that I missed her cooking. I asked if she could please come over and cook with me. She enthusiastically agreed, and said she'd be right on down. I asked her if she could please call 510 minutes before she got there, because I may be in the shower. Her friend then arrives, and immediately strips down naked before the door even shuts. She starts straddling me, and my phone rings. I pick it up, put it on speaker, and it's my mother saying she's about 5 minutes away. Her friend had the deer in the headlights look, put her clothes back on, and bolted. I took a girl to her boyfriend's house. That's actually exceptionally clever. I'm assuming she propositioned you. You said yes, and then proceeded to take her to her BF's house. If so, you're a clever man. Not so clever as you might think. The time is high school. We are coworkers. We went out, and I had every intention of scoring, but when the time came, I was not really into it. So in order to get things on a different track, I suggested we go to Dirk's house, another coworker that I was passing friendly with, but I had seen her hanging out with. She was not too enthusiastic about it, but I decided I was done being there, so I railroaded the decision and drove there. I was plenty surprised when we got there, and he was obviously glad to see his girlfriend. She and I both kept our poker face. I'm not sure what he was thinking. I left quickly. It was never mentioned again by any of us. I ran the duck away. I was with a girl from a party out on the street going at it on top of a car hood in an alley. After a bit she tried to slip me in. Because she was wearing a skirt and no panties, this was easily attainable. She had a delf lock on my hips with her legs as I was standing there, and I asked if she had any condoms. She told me no, and again with her teeth lock on me started to steer me back into her. In my head I was thinking duckades and malarkey. I do not know her. She's not even wearing panties. Instead of telling her I did not want to, my drunk ass instead went off and pointed out across the street. When she looked, I spun out of her grip and all in one motion grabbed my pants back up and went into a full sprint and jumped the fence into someone's yard and took off down the street. About the time I hit the ground over the fence I heard her yell, "Are you ducking kidding me?" To sum it up, I ran away across an alley and over a fence into someone's yard, across that, and into a full sprint down the street. Did you ever see her again? That would be interesting. I actually did not. It was my junior year of college, and I was going abroad to Europe a couple weeks later. Dodged a bullet on that one. I just say that I have diarrhea. Nobody wants to have sex with someone who has diarrhea. This on behalf of my roommate. A girl in his dorm forced him to walk her home, and then alleged not to have a key to her room. She then pulled him into his bed and tried to get things going in a hurry. He got up, claiming he had to go to the bathroom, grabbed a hoodie, and walked 20 minutes to the library, where he slept for the rest of the night on the ground because the room with the lounge chairs was closed. He got dozens of calls and texts from her, but never heard from her again after that night. I fell behind a dryer. I was drunk, sitting up on top of a dryer in a friend's laundry room. The creepy girl I had avoided all evening entered and had me cornered in the room. She pushes up on me, tries unbuckling my belt, and attempts to kiss me. My only method of evasion was to fall backwards behind the dryer and wait until backup arrived. 3 friends heard her calling for help and sprung me from being trapped between the wall and the dryer. I left the room with them as my guardians. I'll never forget the terror of being wedged back there while watching her fat hot dog fingers try to molest me from above. Called her the wrong name in between her kissing me. Bad breath is a turn off. Oh, I thought you were a Sarah. My girlfriend was in Spain for a while, and I was hanging at my local bar for a few drinks after work one night. Somehow while I was having a beer or two and playing darts, time passed and all of a sudden it's near closing time. I'm normally a bike commuter, but was recovering from being hit by a car, so I was waiting on a cab while this 5 6/10 regular customer was trying to chat me up. I'm courteous and polite, but trying to shut her down. After 40 minutes of no cab showing up, chick offers to give me a ride home. I say, duck it. It's free. I'll take it. Once we're in the car she would not stop seriously trying to hit on me. Eventually she asks why I do not just stay with her, and I reply, as I have quite a bit at this point, that I have a GF and I love her. She asks what the hell is so special about this girl that I would not just cheat on her real quick. Now I'm past being uncomfortable and into getting pissed. I keep my cool and explain that if I were to come over then I'd need to stop by my house and get my toy box. She asks what that means, and I tell her it's just the standard stuff. Ball gags, riding crops, a couple butt plugs, just the basics. She seems a bit weirded out, but not quite what I want. So I say, if you're into it, that's just the beginning. Are you into bondage? I have got a whole closet full of fun stuff to play with. I keep going, pulling all of this out of thin air, and by the time we're a couple miles down the road at my house, this bitch cannot wait to get me out of her car. Never did see her in the bar, either. To sum it up, I convinced a very vanilla chick I was into bondage to stop unwanted advances. My friend was very drunk in college and went home with a very unattractive girl. We had tried to stop him, but he did not listen. Shortly after arriving at her home, he said he regained clarity and realized he needed to escape. She left the room for a moment to brush her teeth or some such task, and he jumped out a second-story window. He forgot his hat, though, and had to climb back in said window. Then he jumped back out. It was a small school. We saw her on campus often. Indiana Jones, the college years. Told her that Jesus would not approve of our having premarital sex. She stunk horrendously once I got down there. I had just broken up with my girlfriend, and everyone knew. I had a show a few days later at a bar that weekend. A girl that got around a lot in the scene was chatting me up, following me around like a puppy, etc. I knew her for years and was always polite and whatnot. She lived close to the bar and insisted I stay. She started telling me all the sick stuff she planned to do to me. Long story short, you do not stick your dick in crazy, and you do not do it with a chick all of your friends got with and comes out to all of the events. I used all the standard excuses such as closing tab, talking to the sound guy, packing up my equipment, etc. She waited for me outside, walked with me when I packed all my crap in my drummer's car, etc. I had my buddy pull his car around the side of the bar, told her I forgot something real quick, dashed around the corner, jumped through the back open window, and he sped off. I did not even collect my pay for the night. When I was in my fresher year of university, I made an error. After being down the nearest student bar and drank an obscene amount of beer, my beer goggle turned on. Enter overweight Irish girl. In my mind I was sure she was beautiful and witty ... Turned out not. Cue memory loss, and I black back in when I have managed to bring this troll back to my flat in our halls of residence. Kissing in the corridor and whatnot. This was just around the time of Christmas holidays. So one of my flatmates had already headed home for the holidays. Like the rookie he was, he had left his room unlocked. So, drunken me decides duck it, has a dickhead, and lead the girl into his room. After this, normal sexual initiations begin, and I gradually begin to sober up and feel worse for the beer I have had. So then I decide to be a gentleman and go down on her. Around then I realize my real mistake. There's this ducking rank fishy smell. I'm talking about yeast infection bad smell. My nose picked up on it too late ... I licked, and then I vomited. I vomited on her vagina. Drunken save yourself, abandon shipload engages. I jump up, grab my clothes and leave before she realizes what's happened. As I leave I hear oh my god. Went into my room, locked the door, slept. Stayed in the room for roughly 24 hours just in case she had not left. Man, I was hungry and thirsty. Worst hangover ever. Flatmate to this day does not know. Win. Saw her again on campus a couple of months later. Got the dirtiest look I have ever and will ever receive. To sum it up, overweight Irish girl had yeasty vagina. Vomited on it in my flatmate's bed. Ran away. When I was in college, one of my residents had a crush on me that was not reciprocated. Her roommate invited me over one night to watch a movie with the two of them. Then the roommate left the room. There we were, sitting on the floor, watching some stupid chick flick. When she moved over to sit even closer to me, she grabbed a blanket and threw it over our laps. Moving even closer, I knew things were going to be going the way of the smooching and horizontal mambo shortly if things went as she planned. But I was not attracted to her and wanted to foil the plan as best I could. Thank goodness it was taco night in the cafeteria. Even my eyes watered with the stench and spice of that magnificent fart, and it saved me from doing the hibbity dibbity with one of my residents. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. Click the thumbs up button since you made it until the end. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch another video. That's it. There is no more here ... What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay ... This is not a secret, but subscribe for more edit videos like this.